All right, thanks everybody. Melody, God bless you. Always great to see you. Stavros, you're an incredible general. I love watching the movie Gladiator, and of course, every time I do, I think of you in your team. Same thing with others that might be joining us from a little bit further away, like Lou Hardy and Glenda and Vaitiari. And when she trained in Phoenix, it was really epic. A lot of the Americans saw how powerful our international leadership is. Stavros, you're another great example of a guy that, saw the vision, and, it was more than just learning this new language of network marketing, and world ventures and our product and everything, but and for a lot of people, the language of success. But you learned all that, and then you had to learn English, and you had to learn all that in English, and then now you're doing trainings all over the world. At first, on stage, with us around the world, but now, through Zoom and through technology, and it's bringing us all together. So in a lot of ways, technology, gets in the way, in between us, and interrupts us. And hang on, all of my notifications going off, and it's just getting in between us. But at times like this, it can really bring us together. There's so many people right now that are really feeling isolated and lonely and bored and don't have something positive to focus on. I'm busier than ever. I'm able to be more efficient now. I'm like working, pretty much every minute of the day and then throughout the night, because we've got, a company that is done over 4 billion in revenue in over 40 countries over the last 14 years. And it is a multinational, global juggernaut of a company that's running 24/7. So, it gets more complex. And, I'm the chief visionary officer, and you want to see the vision become real, and, people always ask me, is this what you envisioned, over 20 years ago? And yes, it's not by accident, but if you can imagine, put yourself in my shoes and who I was 20 years ago. I'd already been a top network marketer, a good employee, a Marine, so, as a young man, just so you get to know me better for those that don't already, I wasn't like the best student because I just, get bored, and, I got a lot going on real fast up here. It's hard to spit it out here because it's going on so fast. And I don't know, that's the nature of ADD a little bit. But I remember in second grade, man, they let me out for recess, me and a buddy, and we would go chase a cow, and we'd go look for snakes, and, I would just disappear. But, I come back, and I wasn't the best student, but, I always tested well. They always, put me in Mensa and things like that. And, so, Robert Kiyosaki does a good job. He's got one book where he talks about, A students work for C students. And, if you're an A student, fantastic. It shows that you're teachable and you can learn and you can memorize and you can operate within a structure. But now you're going to have to shift and learn how to become that small business owner, that big business owner, that investor versus, stay in, that job category, employed category. If you're a C student, you've always got that longing in your heart, so how do I break out of this company and go do something more entrepreneurial, more on my own? And we do, my dad fortunately taught me the word entrepreneurship, but, I'm trying to teach people nowadays, if you go back all these years, I've been trying to teach you all about mobilepreneurship. Because entrepreneurship, you might have this local business, that's serving the local community. And that's what's shut down right now. Think about all the businesses locally that have been shut down. And now all those people that were dependent on that job and that mindset and that infrastructure are now shut down. But again, as a visionary, I was talking about mobilepreneurship. You're going to have to learn, that the world is shrinking, It used to be the 6 degrees of separation before the internet and before technology and before Facebook. Okay, but now, it's less than that. You're connected to everybody in the world at, almost at the speed of thought. So even though we can connect faster and we all want things, we still go at the speed of business. So as the chief visionary officer, I've always wanted to go at the speed of thought, but you always go at the speed of business. Bankers, lawyers, regulators, you don't go at the speed of thought. Man, I wish we could. So I always got to kind of slow down, and I've had to learn to be really patient, especially when you got a vision. And I have lots of ideas. God wired me that way. I just have lots of ideas, lots of vision. But you got to be able to do the execution part as well. And so anytime I've tried to, hire somebody that gets in between my vision and the execution, things start to go sideways a little bit, and it winds up taking a lot of time. You burn through a lot of money, and it's not the most efficient way. So, during times of crisis, I've always been able to, drop in and really take control of the vision again, and keep it tight. So I'm going to ask you to be business minded with me, be visionary with me, as so many people have, that we still work together after over 20 years, and a lot of you that are on this call and around the world for over 15 years. And I think that says a lot, that we have almost every leader we started with going back 15 and 20 years ago. So, we're a very strong company. We're a very resilient company, but we just always got to be willing to roll with the cycles. There's always, business cycles. There's life cycles. When you talk about, there's always a good economy or a bad economy. The stock market's up, the stock market's down. And right now we're living at a time where there's massive change going on around the world, in the world, in every level. Right now is when you got to be wide awake and really teachable. Okay, just capitalize on the information that I've gathered over a lifetime, with my dad and school and spiritual, everything. It's like, I want to be your friend, your mentor, but you've got to be able to let me talk to you, about all these books, and what's going on, in the world right now. Okay, and your position, in the world. You build people, and then people build the company. And as a guy like me, you always begin with the end in mind. And I'm always looking out for the well-being of your whole being. Okay, I want our company to be something that pours into every aspect of your life: spiritual, physical, emotional, intellectual, and financial. But for right now, we're only going to talk about financial, and we're going to talk about travel. Okay, those are where we focus on at first. But then as you get involved with the company, you all see now, after all these years, how it expands past that to the emotional, right? All your friendships and relationships that you have around the world. But then your physical, you're going to see us do more there, where we're actually going to take our community that we already have, and we're all going to get physically fit together, get our dream body before we go on our dream trip. We keep progressing that behind the scenes. But then there's the spiritual side. I don't know how to do anything without God. I can't even begin to imagine, because there's so many tests in life. There's so many trials and tribulations in life. I can't even begin to imagine, how do you succeed in life, without you having God at the center of your life? Because, it's not what happens to you in life. It's not what happens in life. It's how you react to what happens in life. You can either react or respond. And do you know how to respond appropriately to what's going on in the world? So that's the kind of wisdom, I want to try and share with you. And, not that I'm the oracle or anything, but I'm intentional. I spend a lot of my time thinking about our creation, what it is that we're doing together. And I'm not ever thinking about just me. I'm always thinking about other people, and I'm thinking beyond my lifetime. And that's been true going back to the beginning, where, I had already succeeded and been a top rep and built several teams of over 100,000 and made millions of dollars and been the top earner. And then, the tech boom and bust, and I was living through that time right there where the vision for World Ventures came. Okay. And, during these times, this was outside influence that was going on in the world. Okay. As you can imagine, if you go look at the stock market and the charts of the tech boom and then the tech bust and how significant that was, and what Alan Greenspan had to do back then, and then later on what Bernanke had to do back then, and what that's done to banking around the world, and how that's changing everything even right now. There's a lot of history here, and you do some soul searching. You learn to pay attention to these macroeconomic forces that are beyond you and beyond the company you're in, that's really changing the world and is life changing. So you go in, you do some introspection, and it's what would you attempt to do if you knew you could not fail? When work is a pleasure, life is a joy. If you love what you do, you can never work a day in your life. A day isn't wasted if a memory is created. So, I live my life by these kind of ideas and quotes and philosophies. And again, when you join World Ventures and you're joining, what was my vision to begin with, and now in terms of co-creation and our collaboration, our vision, I want you to get it from where I got it from, or let me just kind of fast track your success, because your outside success is a part of your inside success. Your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. And fortunately, that came from, my favorite book that came from my dad, As a Man Thinketh. And, from time to time, I might grab certain books right here, because I'm really wanting the stronger the foundation, the bigger, broader, stronger, deeper the foundation, the more pure and solid the foundation, the higher you can build, the faster you can build. So that's what this is about for me. I'm busy. I have to ask for exactly what it is I'm looking for. I can't be vague, right? I don't have the luxury and the time to be vague. Okay. So what I'm looking for is who's next. Okay. I'm looking for who's that next leader, who's that next general, because when you have leadership on the rise, your company's on the rise. And so I know there's some of you out there that was hungry like I was. I know there's some of you that were hungry like, Jefferson was at one point, Matt Morris was at one point, Jeff and Troy, Byron, Martin, David Avello. I'll go back to the beginning, our leadership, Stavros, George, Efrosini. I just keep going back and back to everybody. And, we were that way. We were wired that way. We were looking, and then we found it, and we found each other, and we keep growing this together. And a salute to Mark Cassetta, our director of training, absolutely cornerstone, and just a great friend and a great leader, and somebody I love co-creating with. But so many of you. Now, I think it's always important to say, okay, where are we right now at this moment in time? Where did we come from? Where are we at right now? Where are we going in the future? And yes, this whole worldwide economy is impacting our company, is impacting our business. And it can be like you're trying to catch a falling knife. But where there's change, there's opportunity. And so what it is we're doing to protect your future and position you for your future and create a better opportunity than ever is, at times like this, when you're a company owner and you got offices around the world, employees around the world, it's sad that you have to cut costs. So while we're giving you everything you need to go pursue your opportunity for your own reasons. We as a company cut costs in areas, and then we invest in other areas. We cut overall costs, but then what we do is we pour into your money-making potential, your opportunity, okay? And what we do is we have all these projects and initiatives that increase revenue. So I'm looking to create leaders, and then we have a common vision of where we're going, and we look at all the things that we do together to create revenue along the way. And it's during these shakeouts that you shake out the weak hands in companies and businesses, and the strong survive, and then the strong become the companies of the future. And that's just typical business cycles. It happened with Amazon, it happened with Steve Jobs at Apple, it happens in all these companies where at some point they look like they're not going to make it. Speaking of Amazon, Jeff Bezos, he didn't look like he was going to make it back during the tech boom and bust. And this book was brand new. It's very famous now, but brand new at the time, good to great. Talks about like the hedgehog, concept. What can you be the best at, and that kind of thing, but also the flywheel, jump-starting your flywheel. And Matt Morris does a good job of framing this up, where during times like this, and there's change, this is when you go after market share. This is when the big companies, get created, because it's you got to be battle tested. You got to be resilient. It makes you hone in on clear vision. And so that's where we're at, but we got to bring you along with us. So it's how fast can you, in tough times, the tough times don't last, but tough people do. When the going gets tough, the tough get going. So, that's how we're asking you to be. And that goes to mindset, and your internal grit. Okay, these are what you need, how you need to think and be to succeed in life. So, man, I'm telling you, you should get excited about the historic times we live in. America, Adam Smith, The Wealth of Nations. I don't know. I feel fortunate. I feel blessed to have been born in America. America wouldn't exist without the Greeks and Israel and Adam Smith. I mean, what formed, the American way of life, our Constitution, or everything, our Bill of Rights. So, and again, I focus on the best of it, but America and the world's changing, because when I first started with Jefferson, and I'm teaching Matt and Jefferson, I'm talking about, the baby boom generation, right? The basketball going through the garden hose, and the baby boomers, there was, because of World War II and all that, the baby boom that happened. And if you can market to the front of the basketball, the baby boomers, as they go through life, you can get rich. Well, they became at first they were the hippies and all that, but then they became the voters, and then they got into government, all this kind of stuff. They started running things. They're big enough of a population to start changing things, not only here, but around the world. And that's what you're seeing with a lot of the banking changes around the world. But who I'm talking to right now, because the baby boomers at some point reach their peak earning years and their peak spending years. Now, they do want to go travel for sure. That's going to be a big thing always, no matter what, because it's in the human soul to work your whole life like they have done, but then want to go travel. Okay, and they're going to inherit the previous generation wealth and all that. So the baby boomers, in terms of the travel industry, are alive and well. It's going to boom, big time. But the millennials their kids have actually passed them up in terms of size of and going back to 2017, they passed up the baby boomers, right? So they're bigger, and now they're the influential ones that are married with children, becoming the voting bloc, going to get into the government, get into politics. So the question becomes, are we going to stay a good, capitalist society and the good things, or are we going to become fascism, or are we going to become communism? What are we going to be? Socialist? You hear all this talk right now. So you got to understand the next pig through the python is the millennial generation. What are we doing as business owners? Because people always want to ask me, what's your demographic? What's your target market? And I'm like 18 to 80. We all go on dream trips. We all have a blast together. But it's typically the ones coming into their peak earning years, their peak spending years, that are going to propel a company into the future for the next 20 years. So when I was catering to the baby boomers, I knew we had a 20-year run in front of us. But now when you got the millennials coming along, and it's in the human soul to want to travel and be free, freedom, fun, freedom, and fulfillment. That's never going to go away. That's never going to change. And so now we got to carry that message through to the next generation, the millennial generation. And if we're effective at doing this as a leadership team, sales and marketing and teachers and trainers and mentors, we're going to have the next 20-year run together. So I'm telling you, we're just getting warmed up, and right now we can have the benefit of both of these groups. There's a lot of companies that sell anti-aging, right? When you're a millennial, you don't need anti-aging, right? So are there companies that can get rich marketing to the front of the basketball on anti-aging and skin cream? Absolutely. Okay, but the millennials don't need anti-aging and skin cream. I mean, they don't think that way. They don't need that right now. That's not where they're going to spend their limited resources, right? So, but travel hits both of them. Travel hits the baby boomer, and travel hits the millennial. So, and we got the Generation X, me in the middle, the sandwich economy, because we got our parents moving in with us, we got our kids moving back in with us, and so I'm in the sandwich economy where I've got 3 generations living under one roof, and we're all socialists now, right? We're all Europe now. So that was when I went backpacking Europe. I just love the history. I love it, but I tell you what, I came back and I hugged and kissed America, but this was over 20 years ago, 30 years ago, because it's like I love going to the museums in Europe. I love going to the churches in Europe. But I didn't feel like there was as much opportunity, because America, we were the land of opportunity, not the land of job. But I remember when I went to Europe for the first time, and I'm sleeping outside and backpacking and getting to know the people and on trains and everything like that, it didn't feel like there was as much opportunity. It felt like there was a lot of apprenticeship and things like that. And back then you were landlocked. You really did have borders. And I'm surprised how many people still think in terms of country and borders. And we're proving right now that our company, through technology, can transcend borders. Okay, and I think that I can speak on behalf of all of us when I say we feel like World Ventures is our own country. We're building our own country, and I tell you all this stuff to give you some perspective, because you're the government of our country, and I care about who you are as a person, top to bottom, inside out. Spiritual, physical, emotional, intellectual, financial. I want you to be a whole person there. But if it's all about power to you, or greed to you, or control to you, that's what makes politics bad, okay, and government's bad, and big multinational corporations bad. Deutsche Bank is a good example. Go study the history of Deutsche Bank and what they used to do, and then how they transitioned into competing with Wall Street, and how that's create all these derivatives around the world, and how that's bankrupting everybody and putting everybody in debt, which is slavery. So humanity is being enslaved worldwide, unless you're an independent thinker. The world will adapt and adjust and change and all that kind of stuff. All I'm saying is, odds are you're going to be working a lot harder, a lot longer, for a lot less money. And if you position yourself with a company like ours that is aware of all this, and how we have a product and a service that fits right now and for the future, and how we're looking for, and I'm calling out for generals to lead us into the next generation of the next 20 years. And on that, we're going to capitalize not only on the millennial generation for the next 20 years, but my generation, Generation X, because guess what? We love to travel. Yeah, get me out of the house of our baby boomer parents and our, millennial kids. And I need a vacation too, right? But I want the dream trip. And we got to tell the story. What's the difference between a vacation? What's the difference between a dream trip? But right now, the opportunity is bigger than ever because we're going to get both of these. We're going to get the baby boomers, well, all three of these, I should say. We're going to get the baby boomers. We're going to get the Generation X and the sandwich economy, and we're going to get the millennials. This is such a pipeline of business that we need to go after. But we're going to have to develop our leadership ability, our sales ability, because, silver, our $25 product, is that easier? Yes, but do you wish it was easier, or do you want to become better, right? So yes, I'm glad that we have silver that's built for the people who need it to be easier when they first start, and something that's built for speed that you can deliver through, the internet and technology. But that's the highly commoditized side of the business, air, car, hotel, things like that. Once you get into gold and platinum, now you're talking leisure travel. You're talking about the high touch side. You're talking about the memorable part, the experiential part. Nobody does that like we do. Okay, nobody's building the platform we're building on silver. Will by far always have the best hotel, resorts, and everything programmed because of we're also a travel company and a technology company, and we're building that out, and that will be better than everybody because we have the customer base and the sales force and the loyalty and all that. So silver is totally working for us, and we're totally building our own version of it for the future. But then let's not lose sight of what got us here, okay, that allowed us to compete and take on the giants, which was, how do you carve out? Amazon started with books. Amway started with soap, right? We started with, dream trips. And then we expanded into titanium at the high end. We expanded down into silver at the low end. But now you've got the right product mix. You can get everybody. And these are two new categories that are different from how we started. We started with gold and platinum, which is the high touch side. And we became number one, on that. And we still are, no competition, okay? And it takes time and it's expensive to build that. People, when I first started casting this vision, people say, man, that's gonna be hard. That's gonna take a long time. That's gonna cost a lot of money. And when people are telling me that's why you do it, I mean, are you willing to sign up for that kind of a challenge? Because on the other side of it is the big opportunity. The bigger the problem, the bigger the opportunity. And so, if it's going to take a long time, when would now be a good time to get started? If it's going to be really expensive, but this is what I'm called to do, then I'm willing to work my butt off every day, all day long, because I don't have a money goal, I have a creation goal. I'm willing to take all my money and put it back in for our future. Okay, and that's being the owner and the founder and the visionary. And, I love what we've built together, but we did it together, and it's our company. And so anything we deal with in life is our problem, right? You can't say I succeeded and then take all the credit for the success, and then and look at me and look what I did. But then all of a sudden, when there's a problem, well, it ain't me, it's the company, right? No, it's our company. We're co-creating it, and that goes to tribal leadership. Level 3 leadership is I, me. Look at my trophy, right? Look at me being IMD and my paycheck, and I want to make $1 million a month and stuff like that. So no, there's a level above that, which is we. Okay, what are we co-creating together? And that's excellence. And then all of a sudden you go from there to, how am I a badass individual, but I'm on a team of badass individuals, and now we're going to make a difference in the world. And again, that's who I'm looking for. So if other people are on this Zoom and they're thinking less than that or small than that, no problem. Let me talk to you where you're at. But but I'm trying to raise you up. I'm trying to get you my level of thinking so that we can co-create this together faster. All right. And I don't have a lot of time to do this all the time. I usually plug into what the leaders are already framing up with their team. I'm not calling for a lot of Zooms Wayne Nugent, CEO of the company, and let me do my own. No, I'm usually plugging into what y'all are doing. And so if y'all do more of this, I'll be participating with you more. But I have a day-to-day job, which is working for you, which is the only job I would have, you know, protecting and nurturing this vision, which is bigger than me. It's for us, and it's meant to outlive me and outlive us. Okay. So we're going to have to go through these cycles together. And again, what comes from downtimes? Uptimes. You know, if you're up, you know what comes from uptimes? Downtimes. So, you know, you got to expect this stuff. Otherwise you're not mentally and emotionally tough enough to know how to capitalize on both. You know, there's people who get rich going up, and there's people who get rich on the way down, and they get rich again on the way up. Those are insiders. Okay. Well, I'm trying to get you to that level of thinking that you can, you know how to benefit from the good times, but also know how to benefit from the down times. Now is the time for you to really get good and be able to focus on this, because and develop your skills. Because right now there's so many people stuck at home that they're goofing off. They're binge watching Netflix. They're on these social channels just texting funny stuff. How are they learning right now? How are they growing right now? They don't have a business to plug into. They're waiting for their job to come back. They're waiting for the government to support their job so that they can come back to a job. And right now it's like snow day for adults, and this is like their summer break or spring break or something like that. No, and I don't mean, I'm being exaggerating, right? There's some people that are actually really sick, and I don't mean to dismiss that. Absolutely, God, they're in our prayers. The ones that are quarantined and locked up at home and they're not sick, what are they doing with their time to be productive and be a part of something? You know, you got to have some money-making friends. Yes, there's plenty of friends I can get on and just text with and laugh with and joke with, you know, and goof off and not really, and just wait for things to change. But thank God I got a company and a product and a service and a network of people that I'm plugged into that I can be productive all day long and actually, you know, come out of this bigger and stronger than before. You know, so is coronavirus happening to us, or is coronavirus happening for us? You know, before the 1929 stock market crash, there was the 1921 epidemic back then, or pandemic back then, right? And then we had the roaring 2000s, and then there was a stock market crash. So, you know, how are you positioned? I mean, I want to go on and on. I don't know how much time I have. Put it in the text. Somebody send me a note. But just know, like, we've been doing this over 20 years because I've been through all these cycles. You know, like I said, tech boom bust, 87, 2008, 2009. Back in those times, we were a U.S.-based company. But then we went to Europe with Efrosini, and then from there, you know, Shush and Peter Param, and on through, you know, Stavros and everybody, and just expanded. We went into Asia, and then that, you know, and now we're opening up Central and South America. So we keep expanding like that. And now we're this global company, and we're friends with each other. And all our world leaders and world ventures are friends with each other, and now we're co-creating at this global level. So when you got this global pandemic going on, this global economy thing going on that's changing, and we're getting this kind of education together, how are we helping each other and positioning each other for the future, right? So we're not going through our startup phase, okay, in America or in any one country or region. We're strengthening and positioning to go on our legacy run. Okay, this is when you become the next company. So I'm talking about you being the next leader. I'm talking about you being the next general. I'm talking about you being the next IMD and the next trainer and all that. But when you are that, we're the next company to become that next legacy company. And so, you know, that's what I'm preparing for. So again, we cut costs, and then we enhance your opportunity by giving you the best product mix that's built for the masses and today's time and the internet and all that 25 titanium at the internet, but we still got gold and platinum in the middle. But then we have it to where you can now upgrade people from silver to gold And now look what we did. We gave you a pay raise. You know that video, Jefferson show. We had a great time. But now we're giving you this pay raise where you can cycle faster, because I want your weekly checks to go up because of this economy we're in, this pandemic that we have. So I'm like, how can we increase your pay while y'all are at home? And before all this, you'd be like, well, I'm afraid to call somebody, because they're at work, and I don't want to interrupt them, while they're at work. Well, guess what? Now they're not at work; they're at home. Okay, but you're still not calling them. Why not? You see, there's always going to be an excuse. There's always going to be a reason to procrastinate, okay, and not do what you should be doing. And this job isn't that hard. Show more people, talk to more people that aren't in the business. So this is the campfire where we all come around the campfire, and it's warm and cozy and fun and exciting, and around the campfire, we swap stories and we pour into each other around the campfire. But when this is over, you've got to get away from the campfire and go grab somebody and bring them back. And if you want to double this Zoom, and if you want to double this company, and you want to double your downline, then you got to get off of something like this and go grab somebody and bring them back to the information. And most people have never seen this before. They don't know a company like this exists before, much less one that was built with this much intention behind it. And yeah, without World Ventures, where do we go? There's nothing like it. We're the only one. We just got ranked number 27 in the Global 100 from 38 last year. So when other companies didn't report, out of the Global 100, they only recognized 50 companies. Why? Because they're all getting hit in China and other areas, right? So all of a sudden, there's a lot of change going on. And as a lot of companies didn't even report, like one of my heroes, Mary Kay, hasn't reported in 2 years, didn't report last year, didn't report this year, big companies. And all of a sudden, as they're not reporting or they're going down, World Ventures, we're going up. Our sales are trending up. We went from number 38 last year to number 27, this year. And we're picking up steam. I mean, because we're such a well-trained army, loyal army, resilient army. We're a one-of-a-kind company. We're the only travel company, right? No competition anywhere on the radar or horizon or anything. I mean, there's a lot of talk, but they never make it very long. They only talk for, a season, and then we never hear from them anymore. So World Ventures is absolutely the dominant juggernaut only in travel, okay? And so you have something unique and special, but it's what are you going to do with it? So, Stavros, if you can shoot me something, let me know. Let me look, see how much time I have, because I love going, man. I talk all day, but I know y'all don't want me to do that. But again, where there's change, there's opportunity. And right now there's a lot of change in the world, and this is creating our opportunity. But, you've got to take advantage of it. And again, I'm thinking about what's next. And one of my favorite lessons to give people for times like this that I taught Jefferson and Matt is, it is well to respect the leader, learn from him, observe him, study him, but don't worship him. Believe you can surpass. Believe you can go beyond. Those who harbor the second best attitude are invariably second best doers. So I respect every leader in general we have. I love them. But leaders don't create followers. Great leaders maybe create followers, but great leaders create other leaders. And so I was always looking to create the next leadership. And I can say that with confidence with the leaders that we have leading this call and Zoom, and they're looking for you to rise up and say, here I am, I'm hungry, I'm next. And what I'll ask y'all to do to show respect to them and show respect to the company and help us co-create the future, because when you be careful what you wish for. If you want to grow fast, you can lose your heart, soul, and identity. And we've done that. We grew up to 1 billion real fast. We're like the fastest growing company. Okay. You got to bring it back to the core values. And so when the general asks you to do something, you in the military, you follow orders, you do it, right? And of course, we're not running a military here, but if we could treat it that way, we'd go a lot faster. But what I would ask you to do is go see our core values, read our core values, understand our core values, and then let's make this social. The call to action is for you to think about who do you see and recognize as a leader in World Ventures that's living out these core values. And if you know that you are, how can you say, here's my favorite core value, or here's what's coming up for me right now? And how can I say, here's how I'm living this? And you put that on social media. But all of a sudden, when you say, here's who I am, and here's the core value that resonates with me, and here's what I'm doing to live that out, I want to see that flood social media right now. And I want to see you give it up for each other, okay, where we celebrate each other. And who can you point to that is living out one of these core values? That when you read it, oh man, that reminds me of Stavros. That reminds me of, and then let's put that out there, because we have a great company with a worldwide footprint. We have the big microphone. Let's use it, okay? And we put out, hey, join the Zoom and join this webinar and stuff like that. And that's great, and we get together and we do this. But it's my job right now to call you to action to do something like that. And let's flood social media with our goodness, okay? Because we really are a great company. You're good, but then how do you go from good to great? But then there's the next book, built to last. And I'm telling you, how we're built to last. Forgive me, man, I'm surrounded over here. But I should schedule something where I have the window of time, the bandwidth to really go deeper on a lot of things. And so I'll work with the team to get that scheduled where we can all plug into a Zoom that, that I'm able to lead and communicate with you, just so I can get this off, because, this is a good outlet. This is very cathartic. Again, I'm talking in terms of collaboration and co-creation. And we do feel blessed that we have a company like this that's brought us together, where we found each other, our tribe, and what we're doing now to build the next generation. So help me on some things right now. The things that you can do is that with the core values on social media, but you should be encouraging everybody for ignition, because that increases corporate revenue, that increases your pay. Also United, the ticket sales, people make big decisions at big events. Our next big event is United. And I think it'd be the biggest event we've ever done. Okay. So, but now is when, yes, absolutely. You want to get people in a position and then get them ignition and get them their United ticket. If you're in America, go look right now. Go see what we have. Check your email on what we've created for telemedicine. Okay. And we want to bring that kind of product to Europe and Asia as well. But for right now, we've got it ready to go, that silvers and golds can add on the telemedicine a la carte. All these things help the revenue. So me as the chief visionary officer, and now me as the CEO, I'm able to flatten the leadership organization and be more decisive and make things happen faster. But again, I ask for some forgiveness. I ask for some grace in advance, because, we're not a perfect company. We never have been, but we want to be, I want to be. But of course that's the place of God. So we definitely want to be good as our bottom. We strive for excellence, and every once in a while we hit that perfection level where you're only there for a little while. And but we're working together to, touch the sky and make a dent in the universe. And so I appreciate you all for that. But be thinking about it. Who's next? Because we're the running giant. We are already proven by the credible source as a big company, and I'm telling you, fastest growing. Okay. Because our product is being delivered through the internet, right? Our supply chain is not interrupted. And it has mass market appeal. And not only to the baby boomers, travel is one of the main things for them, but also for the millennials. They want this kind of lifestyle. They do not want to be enslaved financially. They do not want to be enslaved and strapped to a desk. They like their mobile devices. They're learning Zoom and everything, and now they can be mobilepreneurs, and they can be untethered, and we can go, build and work, from wherever we're at. And people are starting to wake up to that possibility right now that, wow, I actually can be productive from my mobile device 24/7 from wherever I'm at. And people need to learn to stop thinking about your local city, state, and country, your local job, okay, 9 to 5. Everybody needs to learn to start thinking bigger and broader than that, that as a mobilepreneur, you can literally be making money 24/7, because we are living in a global world and a global economy, and there is global opportunity. And are you using this to goof off, or are you using this to actually make money and position yourself and your family for the future? And right now, that people are so aware of all this, and they're questioning it in their whole life. And you've got a company built on purpose, by design, to be the answer, not the only answer, but definitely an answer. And we're not looking for everybody. We're looking for, who fits with us, and their light bulb goes off. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to be in the CEO role and position, being a servant leader to you. And again, this is our company, and because we've got so much love and trust and respect and everything for one another, we've been able to go through whatever life brings. We're able to respond appropriately rather than react badly, and that's the kind of leadership I'm looking to build and carry us into the future. So anyway, I was looking for you, Stavros. I didn't see how much time I have, and I don't know if you just let me go and go and go. Hopefully I'm still connected. Can you hear me?
Yes, brother, I hear you. I sent you a WhatsApp. You didn't see, but you're right on time.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, let me see. Oh, there we go. Oh, man. Well, like I said, my friend, I love watching that movie Gladiator, and I see you as Maximus. You're absolutely one incredible general, man. Just always. You're never looking for something for nothing. You're never looking for it to be easy, because you know that you can't baby and coddle people. The worst thing you can do for somebody is what they could have and should have done for themselves. And you're the kind of leader a great leader that creates other leaders, because you don't baby them and coddle them. You make them step up. And that's how you build a strong company. That's how you get rock stars and attract rock stars. If we try to make this easier and cater to the C player or the B player, you're going to lose your A players, because A players want to run, man. They want to compete. If somebody's not running at this and going fast, man, we love you, that you chose us. Of all things in life you could do with your time, but if you chose us, thank you. We appreciate it. We respect you. Now run your race. If you want to go slower, no problem. But whenever you are ready to run faster, you need an organization that's run by A players that want to run fast. And the people that want to do that are the ones leading, these Zooms. And you have to respect them, and you have to appreciate them. And, we've got them. And all we're saying is, who's next? And you don't take the leader and say, hey, let me drag you down here and invite you to my pity party. No, I have a travel party. And I can't go to your pity party because I got a travel party, even if it's through Zoom. And the temptation for a lot of people is victimhood. And we can't cater to people's weakness and victimhood. the best way we can help you is to wake you up and say, let's get you into creator mode. If you really want us to help you and solve your problem, we got to get you empowered by God within and use your creativity with our creativity to go create our future together. But if you're bitching, moaning, whining, scared, fearful, negative, you're sucking everybody down. You're like the crab in the bucket where we're trying to get out and go live a better life, and you're like pulling us back down. Don't be that person. If we're climbing out, we're not going to get out of the bucket and leave you behind. We're going to get out of the bucket. We're going to reach back down in, and we're going to grab and pull you out. Okay? But don't drag us back down in the bucket. So, sorry, man. I just start going these things.
You're always following your leading brother, and that team is a reflection of who you are.
You know, be a go-getter. Read this book. How are you going to be, man? Right now in our company, be a go-getter because you got the opportunity in front of you. Like I'm telling you, the market is there. Our product is there. We have no competition. It's proven. We're number one. I mean, you got everything going for you. But if you don't respect it and appreciate and capitalize on it, shame on you. But blue vase it. Whatever the problem is, whatever the obstacle is, blue vase. In the Marine Corps, it's called improvise, adapt, and overcome. Okay? You're mission-oriented. You accomplish the mission. Whatever happens in front of you, screw it. Get over it. The situation on the battlefield changes. You get over it. You go do it. The mission comes first. You accomplish the mission. You know, we teach people, you know, to read, you know, as, you know, Think and Grow Rich. One of the best books ever written, right? What I love about Napoleon Hill and Think and Grow Rich is Andrew Carnegie had a stopwatch on the desk and gave him 2 minutes to make up his mind. Successful people make up their mind quickly and change it slowly. Unsuccessful people make up their minds slowly and change it often. And he says, I will get you in to meet with the world's most powerful, rich, everything people. Okay? The tycoons of the day. And but you're gonna have to pay your own way, your own expenses, everything, and it's gonna take you 20 years. So are you willing to sign up for that? Do you have that kind of vision? And Napoleon Hill did, so he gave us the book, Think and Grow Rich. But if he would have balked or hesitated and said no to this, to Andrew Carnegie, who was the richest guy in the world at the time, we wouldn't have this. Then you got Warren Buffett, you know, who wrote, well, you know, #1 investor and all this of all time. But if you ask him, what about college, Columbia, or education, or anything that you need to succeed in life? He says no. He goes, the #1 thing that allowed me to succeed was going to Dale Carnegie. How to win friends and influence people, how to speak in public. That's what we have with World Ventures, Marcus Setta, our leadership training. This is the real college. This is the real university. Anybody that's on this call right now, you are learning and growing. And your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. So as your inner world is growing, your outer world is going to grow. But you found a network of people that can plug into you and can fast track you. Now, what's the alternative? The alternative is, you know, Rockefeller back in the day developed a school system. Okay? Well, who did he do that with? JP Morgan, the House of Morgan. But look what's going on in the world with, you know, banking right now. So when you understand, you know, Rockefeller and Morgan, and there's other people that do, you know, like Robert Kiyosaki. So I've been studying this stuff for years. But then, you know, he comes out with Rich Dad Poor Dad, you know, and if you go Buckminster Fuller and the Grunch, okay, and you understand where he got educated from, and now the main teacher, you know, of thinking this way. But then he wrote a book called, you know, Business School for People Who Like Helping People, which is all about network marketing. And the #1 reason to join a network marketing company, other than money, he says, all these reasons other than money. #1, the education. And that's what I'm trying to give you. That's what we're trying to give you. And we're trying to grow you. So, kudos to you, for plugging in and, finding your tribe, and we're trying to motivate you. But you got to learn to be self-motivated. You got to learn to be, self-accountable. Like accountability. You found your tribe, congratulations. But we got to get you to be remarkable, how to stand out in this very crowded world. When I grew up, it was black and white TV, and we had 3 stations in America, NBC or ABC or CBS. Now, dude, there's hundreds of channels on the TV, not to mention YouTube, and not to mention all the people that have their own channel on YouTube, and they're trying to monetize their subscriber base. Okay, and you go actually look what they earn. If they got 1 million followers and shit, they don't earn anything compared to World Ventures. If they make 100,000 a year, it's like a big deal. They're not making 50,000 a month like you can with IMD. And then they get locked into it. They have to do it every day. You got a much better life. With World Ventures as an IMD, you can have the rock star life, the pro athlete kind of life, the YouTube influencer life, but with a lot more freedom and a lot more fun. And one of my favorites is Dr. Deming. And, after, Hiroshima and Nagasaki and Japan and all this, talk about quality and all this, but, how are we leading through crisis? Where does the crisis come from? How an economy grows and why is it crashed? Everybody needs this right now. You got to go YouTube this and get the book, and you'll see the cartoons and how it explains how an economy grows from a very basic economy to a very mature, robust economy, where every 40, 50 years, you go through an economic reset, a currency reset of some sort, Bretton Woods 2, now 3, World Banking, we're going through a transition right now. Greece. When I went to Greece the first time in Cyprus, that's when they're having the riots over there. That's because you got money in the bank and you can't go get your money out of the bank. It's your money. And they're limiting how much money you can take out of the ATM machine. It didn't matter what your bills were. And you got these riots. And that's worldwide news. Well, now they changed all the banking laws all over the world, Basel III. Look at the Basel III banking laws. And you got to understand, money is oxygen. And the world runs on credit and money and all this. And it's changing. And everything that's happening in this outside world is going to affect your world. Wake up. You're not immune, again, think bigger. I need you to be business-minded. I need you to think globally, all right? And as we go through this together, we have to maintain, as a leadership team, and the leadership we create, speed of trust. Because this is how you outpace everybody. This is how you outpace your competition. When trust is high, you can execute quickly and gain market share and win, okay? And when I look at, and you gotta be goal oriented. You gotta be competitive. You gotta have some competitive spirit. Okay. Now, if you just want to run along and hit your wagon to us as we go to the stars or ride our coattails or whatever, yeah. Again, I'm talking to leaders. I'm talking to generals. Who are we going after? So the direct selling news, the industry standard. Amway's number 1 at 8.8 billion. Avon's number 2 at 5.5 billion. Been around 120 years, got bought by Natura. Herbalife is number 3. And there's Infinitus and Vorwerk, Natura, but a lot of people don't know those in the co-way. But the 2 big ones that we're going after, because we're going to go to $1 billion and then we're going to shoot right past $1 billion. We're going to go $2.5 billion. That's what we're mapping out. So now all of a sudden you're passing up Tupperware, which has been around forever. That's a name brand. You're passing up Nu Skin. So I like Nu Skin. I think they're a good company. I think they're a great company and all this, and they've been through their stuff in life and the business cycles and everything like that. They're at 2.68, 2.7 billion. So all of a sudden, I've got goals for us to be number 5 in the world, okay, and grow from there. And that run is right in front of us, right now. It's the army we build right now that's going to take us there. So I'm giving you everything you need: the right company at the right time, the right product, the right pay plan, and all the right support tools and systems to make this run our legacy run, not our startup run with a bunch of hype and we're going to be number 1 and we're going to be the biggest. That's such bull. Okay, anybody who talks like that, they're either an idiot or they're lying to you. One or the other. Okay. After 14 years and over 4 billion in sales and legally operating in 40 countries, meeting the laws of being a travel company, MLM laws, buyers club laws, we can make that kind of statement and it be true and back it up. Okay. So you found a 14-year-old company that's thinking and operating like a startup that has a global footprint in place that's going to make their legacy run, and we're inviting you to be a next general in that run. Wake up. When would now be a good time to wake up and go, that makes sense? Wow. If I can learn how to be a better salesperson and marketer to the baby boomers, but also to the millennials and in between there's you have Generation X. I'm going to have 3 generations to capitalize on travel that calls out to the human soul. And you take something away from people, they want it more. You know what's being taken away from people right now? Their fun, their freedom, and their fulfillment and travel. All of a sudden, when this thing gets unlocked, people are gonna be like, man, I do want to go travel. I do want to live life. I do want to have friends from around the world. And you're gonna be positioned, but you don't wait for all this to pass over before you go into action, because then your excuses are going to change. Your excuses are going to be, well, they're at work and I don't want to call them while they're at work and I don't want to interrupt them. They're busy. They're kind of getting back into the groove. No, stop making those kind of excuses. When would right now be the right time for you to show up and join World Ventures, to buy the ignition kit, to get your United ticket, to work with your upline and actually put your upline to work for you? I always train my downline that you're the CEO and you're the boss of me. Don't get it confused like I'm up here and you're down here, and no. I always flipped it and said, this is you owning your own business. You're the boss, you're the CEO, but you got to learn how to put me to work. And so when you start, I'm giving you some history, man. I'm giving you some of the best books you'll ever read that most people just don't know about. Like Deming, Edwards Deming, Quality's Job One. He went to Japan and showed them how to build quality, right? But then, here right down the road, Ross Perot, man, billionaire, his favorite book on leadership and management, tough-minded leadership, tough-minded management. You're going to love this stuff, people. So, I've got all the books on network marketing, and I hit the top rank in every company and one of the top networkers in the world. But I've got a different job now. I've got to, be thinking about, culture. Okay. This was the Netflix. You can go get a PDF on Netflix, powerful. I've got to be thinking about, servant leadership. Okay. Who do we serve? I'm telling you what we've chosen to be a network marketing company. Our economic engine is our sales reps. I'm focused and dedicated on getting our sales reps paid accurately and on time and big time into the future. Okay. I want you to be strong and healthy. Now, when our leaders are loyal, our leaders have trust with me and with World Ventures. And we've been able to, carry our company through everything for all these years. And then, I've got me a great partner inside the office where it's yin and yang, it's a balance. So, I'm the visionary and I'm able to be strategic. I'm able to be tactical when I need to be for as long as I need to be. But I've got a great team. Eddie, obviously did a great job today. Eddie, kudos to you, pal. as president and chief strategy officer and operating there, and what we do together on these your comp plan and product enhancements and everything. So we get real busy doing that. Mark Aceta, always leading and communicating with the field and our generals. Our attorney is great. Our CTO is great. I mean, guys, we're stacked, you know, with the best team, you know, that we've ever had. And they've all proven, not talk, they've all proven their loyalty, their dedication, that they're bought in on the vision. They're servant leaders. This is what you dream about. You go your whole life and never see this again. It doesn't exist already. But I'm telling you, what we have, you go your whole life and never see this again or be a part of something this good again. And so now is when you gotta respect it and appreciate it and capitalize on it. And so again, I don't want to just, I mean, I'll just keep going and going and going, and I appreciate you kind of giving me the space to point out some things, because I just start grabbing stuff and talking. But again, we're fortunate to have this worldwide leadership. We got a strong leader in every country and every region of the world. And again, we're more bonded and unified than ever. And we're battle tested, and we're resilient, and we're visionary, and we're hungry, and we're ready to run. And we're just looking for who's next, because that's how we go to the next level. And I can remember when all these leaders were just beginning.
Nice.
Okay, just beginning. Never an IMD, and I've watched them become IMD. I watched them become knighted trainers, and I've watched them become mentors. We have the best leadership core and training in the entire industry. That's us, folks, and you've got it. You found it with the most fun, sexy product in the industry, and no second place, no competition. So
thank you, Wayne. Thank you.